Hey, everybody. So apparently there will be singing tonight, and there's already been some before we went on the air. Welcome to the show, Dana. How are you?
Pretty good. It's
Yeah,
been.
it certainly has. It certainly has. Um, so yeah, to everybody watching, yes, we will be watching episode 7 of Firefly, Jaynestown, and as I put it in the chat earlier, but if you didn't see it, we will be starting. If you're watching like I am on Hulu, or you're watching another version of the episode that has books, little introductory voiceover
I
at the
don't have
beginning.
that.
Dana doesn't have that because she stole her episode.
God,
So
you are such a terrible liar. Every single time she stole that episode.
ask.
No, nope.
See, now you and Jason both know what it feels like for me to make the exact same joke at the beginning of every one of our shows.
What? That it's not funny. Thank you, some random geek. I made these. I made these.
But,
These I made, and
but
then these are beads that I got in New Orleans. And I didn't actually intend it this way. I think they go nicely with this shirt. I got them when we were at the Sugar Bowl back in the day when I was in the marching band at Florida State, and we were there for the national championship.
woohoo!
We lost, and it sucked.
Thank
But
you. But thank you, some random geek, for saying what I was about to say, which is that if you are watching a version of the episode that has books intro, just skip past that to 037, and that's where we're going to start when we actually push play.
check
What?
it out. Check it out. Look what I got.
Pizza.
I got pizza.
So do I.
Yay.
It's pizza night, and yes, a calzone does count. Someone asked earlier. Vale Dunn asked if a calzone counts as a pizza. I would say it does. It's close to hell enough, you know.
Well, I mean, and just like food. Food makes me happy.
Just eat food.
Just eat food.
Pizza, calzones, whatever.
Chinese.
Chinese.
Said he was having Chinese. I hope you enjoy the Chinese because
Yeah.
enjoying food is like, well, I guess the nutritional aspect and not starving thing. That's probably actually the most important. But
Yeah. Now, ER Mixon's craziest theories. We have the elephant in the room being
presumably
the
Joss
Whedon
being
thing.
an asshole,
Indeed.
and
That whole thing.
yeah, we have not yet talked about that.
Do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to talk
Let's
about
talk
it after
about
the
it
episode?
after, because inevitably when we talk about a whole bunch of stuff and then start the show like way late, we were like, why did it
Right.
take so long? Sorry, guys.
But yeah, this is the
Let's
first.
put it in the notes. Put it in the notes.
in the show notes
Show notes.
that we both totally have. This is the first episode that we've done since the most recent stories about what a dick Joss Whedon is have come out. So we will talk about that, and if people watching in with us in the chat want to talk about it after the episode, I'm totally down to talk about what a shitheel Joss Whedon is, and all the people who have come out recently to confirm that. But we're going to watch the
Galactic
episode.
85. Keep in mind that I am a public school teacher, and this is also public. And
Yes.
I'm trying. I like my job. There
Yes.
are parts of it that are very challenging, but I like it very much.
Dana is trying to stay PG-13
And then
at
some.
the outside. Man,
See,
PG
Corey's taking
ideally.
it. Corey's taking it.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
That's it. That's all we get.
Yeah, that's the one F-bomb we're allowed. So we will. No, it's fine. You know.
No, and I'm being somewhat facetious.
Yeah.
If y'all cuss, that's on you. That's not on me.
That's right. Hey, I
and
ain't gonna
also
get
you're
fired.
not my students, so I don't have to write you up. Like I don't know that I could. Anyway, I don't have any of the forms here anyhow. It's not during school.
If you had the paperwork, it would be a different matter.
Actually, do I? I might
Oh,
actually
don't.
have some.
Please
on my
don't.
clipboard
You-
here.
you-
Nope. You're good. You're okay. I don't have a.
I don't have any disciplinary slips to fill out. So anyway, yeah, we'll watch the episode, and then we will
talk
about the
politics.
episode, and also
yes, like we always
talk
always
about yes. talk about the
Some random geek. That was so thoughtful of you.
yeah.
Let's watch the show.
Watch show. You want watch show now?
Watch show, and eat.
Yes. Okay. So everybody, once again, if you're watching on Hulu or some other service that has the opening intro, seek ahead to 037, and that's where we're going to start.
Minus 43.56.
Or minus, yeah, exactly. Or minus 43.56. And we will get ready. And as usual, I will count us in from 3. I'll give us a 3, 2, 1 play. And when we get to a commercial, we'll do 3, 2, 1 pause, and we'll talk, and then we'll, the whole deal. If you've watched this before, you know how it is. And if you're a new viewer, that's how it works. So here we go. Dana, are you ready?
I'm so ready. I've got my finger poised over the play
You're hovering over the button?
I'm hovering. Okay. I'm waiting for you, Steve. I'm waiting. I've been waiting.
I could say something, but I'm not going to say it.
I'm still waiting, Steve.
Okay, here we go.
I'm trying to be patient. You're trying my patience.
I feel like you're not trying as hard as you might be. Okay, here we go. Ready? In 3, 2, 1, play. She's got a point, Simon.
Nope. Wait. She has a point.
Oh, now you just jinxed it. What?
Exactly. What did you think she was going to do? Arrange for some diplomacy?
You're like a trained ape. Oh.
Yay! I mean, I know he was acting, but still.
Everybody out. Yeah, that's the way it always goes. There's lots of jinxing stuff going on so far.
Uh-huh, Richard, exactly. It's this episode. Fancy man going to buy some mud.
I love it. All right, stop describing me. Yes, go see the sights of this smelly backwater.
Oh, just wait. There's sights to see. There's sights to see.
We have such sights to show you. I don't recall asking. Just give me the mud.
Emerleon, I can't tell you. Everybody else can tell you, but I've got a weird copy. Oh,
Yeah,
some
there
random
you
geek
go.
just handle it. Good job.
Thanks, Geek. Opinion no one cares about. He's giving the exposition away.
Pizza's good.
No.
Look at that futuristic bobcat.
Lots of jinxing.
Oh, yes. Oh, it's just like that Twilight Zone episode, The Normal Sized People.
And Simon swears.
Appropriate
Appropriate swearing. Exactly, Richard.
swearing.
Appropriate swearing.
Appropriate network TV passable swearing.
He was waiting for the opportune moment. And that was it. Wait, wrong movie. Sorry. Actually, no, I'm not sorry at all.
Horses, horses, horses,
Running horses.
horses. Well, not that kind of pedestal. Go pack that mud, you grunts.
I was literally wearing Jane's coat today. It's
Oh,
nice
yes.
and comfy. Yeah. Well, it has slightly more colors. There's also some mustard to it.
Oh, that's nice of you. And he was in the episode of DS9 we just watched.
Yes,
Two
he's
consecutive appearances of Gregory Ensign.
he's always an asshole.
Yeah. He has a type and he goes with it. He's had a nice career. Good for him.
Do what works.
Do what works. Get paid, baby. Get cast and get paid.
Speaking of Joss.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, Corey, he is at least nice enough to do that. Make sure when we know what kind of guy he is right away. He's upfront about it.
Oh, she's making a Jefferson Bible.
He's helping. I'm making it better.
Somebody really should have done this a long time ago.
Obviously.
Heretic. Obviously.
It gets even better. I love how stubborn she is.
Do you?
I do.
You can relate?
Mm-hmm.
Get it? Pretty smart.
So
Get.
don't look at me. Oh, just wait.
You want to see his head? Just a peck of trouble.
Not the kind with the bushel.
Oh, God, I can't only imagine what a bushel would be.
A bushel and a peck?
A bushel and a... Seems like overkill. Catch you later.
We're good at that. Gave you the pork. And he gave him what for?
Simon. Oh, my God.
My people. Gave him what for? Earth. Ain't hard to explain. The hero of cancer. Jane. First two. Ace of Sevens, hold on to that because I have had some thoughts. Whoopsie. Whoopsie.
Marty.
There's the kid. Three, 2, 1, pause. So I'm paused at 1838, which is 25:57 remaining. For people who need a time code or need to catch up or whatever. So yeah. So, did you? I mean, it's called Jaynestown.
Yeah, I figured it was probably something like this. The idea of it being like a botched theft that was misinterpreted by the townsfolk as being like a great act of generosity, like that's really clever. That's very funny. Yeah. And
yeah, the reactions, the acting in this is superb.
And yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, Simon's reaction when the song starts is priceless. When he's got like his hand on his head and he's just like, "What is happening? What is this?"
Reality, it went away.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh, and Charles Chapman in the chat says kids just can't keep a secret. Yeah, that kid needs to keep his trap shut.
And, well, he did as Jane asked, and he said, "Get out of here." And the kid did. And then he went and got everybody else.
It's like that. It's like that subreddit that you like, malicious compliance. It's like,
it is. It's
okay,
like,
I'll get out of here. It's what you said to do.
Yeah, Darren. Josh does seem to like his musical episodes, doesn't he?
Yeah. I will say I think the idea of the song is better than the song itself.
I think that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I mean, but
it's not a good song. It's not supposed to be.
But it's not even like funny. It's just sort of like, and I feel like, you know, when you said like, here comes verse 2, I was like, oh, I hope he sings the whole thing. Like, you know, like once you get the idea of like, oh, they wrote a folk song about him, it's like, okay, I get it. Let's, you know, like the song itself isn't good enough to justify hearing that much of it, but the idea is really funny.
Yeah, but I think that's why second verse is like, oh God, there's more.
Oh, he's gonna keep singing.
And I think that's why they limited it to 2, because it really is just,
and there is some plot stuff in the second verse. That's when, you know, they bring up the money in the sky, and Jane's like, oh, that's what happened to that money, you know, so you know.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's a really funny concept. And, you know, I like the river and book stuff. You know, because
Eric, you missed the pages, the Bible becoming pages, and River feeling bad and going back to return them.
Your symbol turned into paper.
And I was going to give them back to you. And Book stands up, and he's washing his face and his hair. And Zoe comes up and says, River, what's... Oh!
Yeah, Shepherd Einstein, as someone in the chat said.
You missed the hair.
Yeah.
You missed the song. You missed so much, Eric. We love you, and we're so sorry that you missed it.
Yeah.
But
we're
okay.
paused.
You can remember it. You can remember it with us.
If you want to catch up, we're paused at 1838 in, or 2557 remaining, on Hulu anyway, and or 2555 is some random geek, so that's a perfectly fine time code too. Yeah, so I thought that was a good scene. It reminded, like I said, I mean, she's Thomas Jeffersoning the Bible, because that, you know, I actually I think I still have a copy of it around here somewhere, the Thomas Jefferson Bible, where he went through the New Testament, the Gospels, really, not the entire New Testament. He just went through the Gospels and cut out everything that referred to something supernatural or referred to something that he felt was incredibly unlikely, if not impossible, to have happened. And it basically, you know, sort of boiled it down to a narrative of the life of Christ from his youth, not his miraculous conception and birth, but just his youth up to his crucifixion. And actually, I think the ending of it is the original ending of the Gospel of Mark, which is the stone being rolled in front of the tomb. And then there was a later ending added to Mark, which is like, oh, and then there's an angel, and it's like, oh, he came back. You know, but like the original ending is the stone being rolled in front of the tomb. And yeah, that's kind of the direction she was going. Only she was starting way back at Genesis. And she's like, I'm just going to fix this whole thing.
And like, if you look, there's like, she's using different colors of ink to mark different things. And she has pages folded down in different ways. Some of them are folded in half, like vertically. Some of them are dog-eared and things like that.
Yeah. Charles, if I got typecast as a bit player in TV, what do I think I would be typecast as? The cynical smartass.
Gee, imagine that.
The dipshit. The character I have typecast myself as. The overconfident dipshit.
So like a cross between Wash and Jane.
Yes, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Somebody who's like really full of himself and lacks self-awareness, and, you know, and his hope.
Darn near every character on the show, actually.
Actually, yeah, pretty much all of them smushed together in an incredibly sexy package. Oh
no. Jane does have facial hair. I was going to say, but all of them are clean shaven, but they're not.
That's right. Yeah, Jane has the goatee, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's it. I don't
Yeah.
have anything else to comment on because, I mean, we
Yeah.
hit it.
Colin, my character from the podcast. Exactly. My character from the podcast, my character from the Stuffy videos, my character from that Ask a Professional YouTuber video I put up on Monday. Pretty much anytime I play a fictional version of myself, it's some variation of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not the pastor.
The
Not
pastor?
Pastor You.
Oh, you mean Michael Worley?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, but he has some similar traits, though. I mean, he is also like an overconfident buffoon.
He is full of himself.
Yeah. But yeah, so shall we get back into it?
Yes, let's.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, we're gonna jump back into this episode once again. We're getting back in at 1838 in or 2557 remaining, and we'll watch some more of Jaynestown. So here we go. I will count us in from 3, 3, 2, 1, play.
Oh boy.
Fess. It's a good name. It's an underused name. Good Western name too.
Indeed.
Fess Parker. But I wanted to watch.
Some random geek. Everything starts with T.
To me. Cheers, cheers, cheers to me.
Some random geek. She doesn't really have that long. I'm not sure that they're going to be there for just 7 days and 6 nights.
Aww. Are you saying you want this?
I don't want to go nowhere. No, he just said I was pretty.
Yeah. And I thought that was awesome because I figured him and River had like a weird flowers in the attic thing going, but apparently he's into me.
No, obviously not. They're not blonde.
Nice to roll the tricky. I love how he's deliberately not pulling his hair back.
You literally didn't realize it.
This is my truth, and you need to face it. It'll still be there. I've seen it, man.
I can't unsee it.
Jane Day.
Her face.
Ew. Now, like I said, this is a sacred place of understanding and sensitivity. Now let's get those pants off. You are Superman. And the law lost. You seem a little too invested in this, sir, if I may say. That's not a look you want to see.
I will say, nobody's ever rioted for me.
Give it time. As you know.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Oh.
Perfectly good at the time.
Thank you. Let's just keep going.
Okay. See, my thought is, I mean, he'll be like, you're right. I don't have enough bolts left in this for him and for you. So I'm just going to bludgeon upside the head and leave your corpse in the water, becoming part of the mud. I'll shoot
plan.
the big guy because he's more of a threat.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, what? No.
You're taking this the wrong way.
Okay, Ensign.
messed up, Simon. You messed up big time, man.
Just tell her she's pretty again. She liked that.
What?
You want to see our men? They're outside in the mud.
I'm sorry I called
Me and
out
my sister
father's
attend a
name.
bar today.
Okay, could you lay off the pseudo philosophy? I'm really kind of going through something here. You hope what wasn't entirely forgettable for me.
Complication time.
I'm sure everything will go smoothly according to plan.
Why can't things go smooth? Things never go smooth.
Oh, fun.
Digging. Oh. I love her here. I can word now. Not good, but can word.
Never mind.
That's impressive growth for 4 years. He must have been working on that before. I mean, head hair, yes, but that beard.
It's a long beard.
Yeah, for 4 years, that
Good counter move. Oh shit.
Not enough. Keith Hale, probably.
I've prepared a speech. Mm-hmm. Whoops. I'm sure we'd all love to hear what you have to say. You broke the code, bro.
No.
3, 2, 1, pause. What a twist. Quite a turn of events. So the guy who got shot is going to be the new hero, right? The guy who just took
the one who truly stood up for somebody.
Yeah, the guy who just took a bullet for Jane right before the act out. Yeah, he's going to be the new hero, right? I mean, that's my guess. That's just my guess. You don't have to tell me if I'm right or not, but that's
we're gonna find out here in, I don't know how much time we got left.
About 7 minutes.
Yeah. So not.
Well, Charles, he might be dead, but they could still put a statue up of him.
That's true.
I mean, you know, there's statues of dead people. So I've heard tell us such things. Yeah, and so by the way, for people who need a time code, some random geek is throwing it out there in the chat, and we're paused at 37:39 or 6:56 remaining. So yeah, and that's for Hulu. That's where I'm watching it. So yeah. They've kind of like I guess the other plot threads aren't as important, so they've kind of
Which other
fallen
plot
off.
threads?
You know, well the book river stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then Inara and what's his ass?
Son.
Yeah.
Son.
Fess.
Fess, that's right. Yes.
Good solid Western name. He doesn't look like a Fess, but Fess is a good name.
Yeah, well, like, you know, fess up as in, you know, he just sort of spills his guts. You know, he's not the sort to hold out. He's like that, you know, does what daddy wants.
Indeed.
Oh, ER Mixon. Will we write anything to submit to the open? No.
This is the first time hearing of it, so no.
Mm-mm. Well, not only that, but if I had an idea that I thought was good enough for a show, I don't have the pull for, you know, I don't have the pull, and I'm sure that the stipulations wouldn't include me being a showrunner.
Oh, especially if you're like,
if I'm nobody,
if you're a rookie, yeah, they're not going to be like, here's millions of dollars,
they
do the show
like,
you want.
so if I had a brilliant idea, I'd give it to you. You know, a whole lot more of, you know, putting shows together than I do.
Oh yeah, but I don't have any more stroke with Netflix than you do. I mean,
no, but you could do it on your own.
I could, couldn't I?
You absolutely could. You know, whether it's.
But then I would, but if it was your idea, then I would let you be the showrunner. I mean, if you wanted to be.
Yeah, I know. That's part of why I'd give it to you.
Oh, I see.
We'd work together on it. And, you know, but I would hand most of the creative control over to you, because I would still want to teach. It's what that's my thing. That's what I do. So, Dear Ultra Trekkie, I have no idea whether it's just for Americans, but I'm sure if you like Google it, you'll see.
Yeah,
but I mean, you know, the internet is there, so I don't know why, you know, it would need to be. I mean, especially with the pandemic, everybody's doing stuff with Zoom. So, you know, and if, you know, if the money's right, and they needed somebody to be on set. But I mean, if they were hiring somebody to be a writer, you could write remotely. So I just don't know.
That's true.
Yep. Yeah, Stuffy and Friends movie.
Just need to get that patron up to what, $10,000 a month. You $10,000 a month, you all can have all the Stuffy and Friends movies you want. I'll convert to a full-time Stuffy and Friends channel, and I mean, Dana, you can help as much as you want. We will just make Stuffy and Friends full-time. That will become my full-time job.
Yeah, you'd be sad though.
I would.
Yeah, I mean, like if that was the only thing you did, that wouldn't be the.
Oh no, I would do other stuff.
You would still sometimes do like Star Trek stuff.
I would still want to do live streams and stuff, and I mean, and do Star Trek stuff. Yeah, of course.
See. So, what did Corey say that Richard is referring to? I think Jane was being matter of fact about something. Richard Moore, I would think. Not that he would have liked to see Simon hurt, but more that he wouldn't have cared about it. But yeah, he didn't want it to be on his account, or if it was going to be on his account, he would want to be the one doing it, the hurting.
Why waste a good hurting? You know?
Exactly. You know, if anybody going to hurt the annoying doctor, it's going to be me. That's Jane's take on it.
Like, let me hurt him. What are you talking about?
I get things so out of order. I don't think I think that happens later, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut about it. when Jane's in the doctor's chair.
Sounds promising.
Yeah. So, any other thoughts, or should we?
Not yet. I don't. Not right now. But yeah, shall we continue and finish the episode? We have
I think we shall.
One segment left.
Just a few minutes left.
Absolutely. So once again, we're going to go back in. I'm paused at 37:39 in, or 6:56 remaining on Netflix, and here we go. We're going to count it. I'm going to count us in from 3, and we'll finish the episode in 3, 2, 1, play.
However, Corey, that was earlier.
Yeah. Oh, Meat Slammers. There we go. God, that felt good. Kill yourself. That was a well-built statue.
Well, they talked about, how strong the mud was.
That's true. That's true. Hey, watch your language, Wash, please.
Hey, Wash ain't Simon.
How interesting.
So it wasn't over.
I love how he stands back in the doorway like he's just like,
I can't believe it.
Oh, the end.
And so I think that also ties back into the B plot with Book and River as well. It's not about the factuality of it. It's about what people need from the story.
Right. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I like, and then you said, they have these other plots like with Anara and the guy, and that have gone. I'm like, but they haven't. And that's one of the things I like about the episode is the way the side plots tie together thematically, and structurally with the main plot.
And I think this is the first episode we've gotten that has that many subplots.
Yes.
So it's almost, which I like. I like that, it's, you get the sense that, they're, everybody has something to do. It's not just like, this is.
It's not like you don't have somebody who's sidelined.
Right.
Completely.
And it works really well. And it creates a nice sense of life on the ship. You sort of check in on people and see like, oh, look, here's what everybody's doing. And it's not the main part of the story, but like you said, it does tie in eventually.
Yes. I think structurally it's really good.
Yeah. It's a really well, I agree. It's a really well put together episode.
Somebody, and I'm sorry that I don't remember who, said that this felt very strongly, like what was the phrase? Not the whole, the defeated South, except that's not the phrase.
Oh, the lost cause, the Confederacy.
Yeah, the lost cause.
Yeah.
I get that vibe less from this episode than I do from others. And I will say, I think you can kind of see that vibe, like visually thematically, just from the timing of it more than anything. But there's not as much of the sense of like there's more of a separation because you don't get the sense of like, the wealthy people among the independents, those who are pushing for independence. You don't have that sense of, the wealthy elite, the landowners, the Ace of Sevens, it might have been you.
I think it was you, yeah.
I don't think so. This to me feels much more like a pull between, if we're going with the South, sharecroppers and plantation owners in the Jim Crow era.
Yeah.
Or for me, it feels, having grown up in Pennsylvania, for me, it feels like mining towns, and the Molly Maguires was big. Especially with the riot and, the threat of reprisal and just the rise of unions. It does. It addresses slavery, but they are technically being paid, and it just feels much more like being paid in scrip.
Yeah, it feels much. Yeah, I don't get slavery from it. I get
much more like a company town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, working class solidarity, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, having grown up, you know, with that as part of my heritage, you know, in the coal area and lumber, there's just there's so much there that I'm familiar with. And then at the end, you know, really made me think of what we're, you know, the conversations that we're seeing now about statues of Confederate heroes.
Right.
And especially that conversation at the end between the two of them, that it's about what those statues mean. That,
Right.
you know, he says, you know, that's not who I was. And it's not, and Mal absolutely points out that it's not about historicity.
Yeah.
It's about what people, you know, these statues are about, you know, what people believe in. And that's what these statues are about.
Absolutely.
What people believe in. And so, you know, it's opinions no one cares about. Take care of the munchkins, and thanks so much for coming by.
Yeah. Well, it reminded me of, was it one of our shows recently, or was it an Ask Away where I was talking about the Last Temptation of Christ and the temptation sequence where Jesus meets Paul, who is preaching like the classic Jesus story, but Jesus is like, how can you tell people that? Like, it's not true.
And
I'm
Paul's
alive.
like,
I'm
yeah,
right
you
here.
can say what you want, and you're gonna tick them off, and they're gonna kill you for real.
Yeah, exactly. Paul looks him in the face and says, it doesn't matter that you're still alive. It doesn't matter what's true. What matters is the story. The story is what the people need, and that's what they get from me.
Yeah, Gibraltar Trekkie, exactly. Coal and steel, exactly. Coal to just sort of all around me and more to the south. I was in central Pennsylvania, and then slightly there were some major steel areas in slightly to the north. If any of you guys are familiar with Billy Joel, Allentown is not actually about Allentown, but about Bethlehem.
It's about Bethlehem. Yeah.
Yeah. And the steel mills that are there, and which always made me wonder why he called it, I guess, Allentown. I guess Allentown maybe was easier rhymes, but you can get easy rhymes with Bethlehem too, and the rhythm's the same.
I think, yeah, I was just going to say the same number of syllables, but it's probably easier to, you know, we're living here in Allentown and they're closing all the factories down. That's a lot easier than whatever you're going to come up with Bethlehem.
Yeah, but he was good enough by that point that he could, I think, because I actually went through and I at one point I filked it with Bethlehem. Especially if you give yourself a little leeway, like Bethlehem, they've put us out of work again or something like that.
Yeah, you have to Eminem it. You have to stretch it with pronunciation.
You don't have to.
You don't have to,
but you can, and it still works.
Eric Allen, I need to go rule Allentown. Yes, you do. You need to go and take your throne. Go to Allentown and take your throne, my friend.
Yeah, such a throne as it is. And
Barry Allentown, that's good throw out to Trekkie. That's more of a Wally joke, but I could see Barry making that joke, maybe. But that's more of a Wally joke.
Totally make that joke.
Patience, yes, totally. If
wait until we finally get to introduce Patience to everybody.
Patience is delightful.
Oh yes, thank you, Some Random Geek. It's such a great song, and it really captures the discouragement, the discouragement and resignation that were part of that era. I want to throw in a plug for Bruce Springsteen's Youngstown, which is thematically a similar song. I think is a better song. Even though I'm a huge Billy Joel fan, I think Youngstown, especially the live version of Youngstown from the live at Madison Square Garden album from the year 2000 or so. Oh, such a great song. Oh my God. Well, I'm taking a note.
Oh, it's so great. Such a great song. I mean, the album version is good too, but the live version is absolutely fantastic.
Hey, Some Random Geek, can you get us a link to that?
Put that in the chat, you unpaid
one of our
producer.
producers. Yeah. Oh.
No, Patience's last name is not Phillips. What did we decide her last name was? And she's not Catwoman either.
No, she's definitely not Catwoman. Oh my God. That's just weird.
Patience. It's another one syllable name, and it's alliterative. It's Patience. Is it Peck? I think it might be Peck. We called her Patience.
Yeah,
Peck.
something like that.
But yeah.
See, look at that. Look
there
at
we
that.
go.
Some
Look
random
at
geek.
that.
Man, you're amazing. Thank you
Fantastic.
so much. That's awesome. I am impressed. I am thoroughly impressed. Some random geek is just always on it with the links. But yeah, I've heard, because that's come up, the Lost Cause with Firefly has come up several times, and I just I feel like that is just more due to the Western vibe and just the timing of that, but there is it's just not complex enough, because you don't have the wealthy elites among the independents, and you don't have, essentially it's just class. It's just class.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have industry versus agriculture the way that you would. So yeah. And
yeah, geek. Yeah, thank you for correcting me about or confirming
when
that
it came up.
It was you who brought up Last Temptation and last week on Trek Reluctantly. Yeah,
there you go.
There you go.
So I'm trying to think.
Any relation to Walter Peck? No, not you mean the hero of Ghostbusters? the hardworking public servant who just wants to regulate this dangerous new
and nobody
business.
knows how it works. You don't even really know what it does. It's just I want you not to freaking pollute, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Like I love Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is a great movie, but there's no way that guy is a bad guy. He's being completely reasonable. All he wants is to regulate for the purpose of public safety this incredibly dangerous thing in the middle of the city. Do you want to talk about Joss Whedon and
yes,
what a piece of garbage he is? We talked about we've talked about this ever since, just privately, ever since like Charisma Carpenter made her statement most recently, but like the Charisma Carpenter stuff has been floating around for years. Like I've known about it for quite a while, and it's been out publicly for a while. But it's like now, because for whatever reason, I think probably because of the Ray Fisher thing, and then Charisma Carpenter saying, "Oh, by the way, this happened."
Yeah, and there was some because people were saying, why is and I am curious why it's coming out now. I feel like my guess would be that she consulted with an attorney. I would be willing to bet. I would be willing to put money down that there were some non-disclosure agreements, and there were
quite possibly,
there were some didn't make it to court, perhaps lawsuits, because the big thing was that she was offered to come back as Cordelia, and her what she has said is that her one stipulation was don't bring me back as Cordelia just to kill her off,
right?
And they said we're not going to do that, and then that is exactly what they did, and she didn't want to do it, and her agent said, look, you kind of have to. But that's breach of contract, right? It depends on what was written down and what was signed, but if there's this conversation may be recorded for training purposes, there's no but Ace of Sevens that happened a while ago.
Well, no, he's talking about Ray Fisher getting fired from the Flash movie, which just happened a couple weeks ago.
Okay, yeah.
Because Cyborg was supposed to be in the Flashpoint movie, which in theory they're still making, although I don't know what the deal is as far as COVID, if that's even actually in production or not. But and he was let go from that. I don't think that was, and I think actually Charisma Carpenter might have mentioned that in her statement, if I remember. So yeah.
And so it was just, one thing piling up and piling up and piling up. And it's Eric Allen asks if it wasn't Joss held up as some groundbreaking figure for male feminists.
Yeah, back in the day he was.
No,
Back in
see,
the
I don't
90s
think he was as a person, but as a creator.
Yeah. Oh,
That makes
yes.
sense.
Yes.
And I think his work still, to some degree, does when you compare it against what was available at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's also and I wish I can never find it when I go back and look for it. William Goldman talks about it in one of his screenwriting books. He talks about, you have to budget an extra 10 to 20% for the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Which is when the star, when you have a normal person and you surround them with people who say, yes, you're right, that's an amazing idea, everything you do is right, like, that you're not perfect, but everybody else is telling you that every idea that you have is good. You're like, really? Every idea I have is good? Everybody likes all my ideas. And so you start to think, well, okay, they're all saying this. I mean, it's sort of the opposite. It's like it is a kind of abuse because it's harmful for you, but it's kind of the opposite of abuse. Like people who are abused and told that they're worthless and you're stupid, that becomes ingrained in them. And this is sort of the opposite process. People become narcissistic because everybody else tells them, yes, you're amazing, you're wonderful, every idea you have is great.
Goldman.
Goldman. Did I say Golding? I meant
no,
Goldman.
you said Goldman, but yeah, William.
Okay,
William the screenwriter
The Princess Bride,
Butch Cassidy,
and the Sundance Kid,
and one of the all-time great
Stepford Wives.
Wives. Yeah, he's just a legendary screenwriter.
Marathon Man.
Yes. Oh, so many. Yeah. Yeah. He's really prolific.
Yes,
really,
and his nonfiction books, Adventures in the Screen Trade, which Lie Did I Tell, just eminently readable. I mean, just enjoyable conversations. The story about, I think I've told it on one of these streams before. The story that he was at a hotel and somebody came and told him Sylvester Stallone has just shown up at the pool, and
yes,
he's like,
and everybody wanted to see how tall he was, to see how tall Stallone actually was. Yeah.
Just like
see him without the lift,
because I think he's relatively tall, and so he like has a thing about movie stars and their height, and it's so funny. Oh my goodness. And there and exactly. And Iramexon, it says this is a bridge you want to be careful of, even if you hate people. Hollywood runs on relationships, and I think that's true of just about anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But as his star, as he was sort of ascendant, that because that's what his wife talks about, the way that he changed as he became bigger.
Yeah.
And nobody would tell him no. And the people who would tell him no were ones that he could squelch. And that's people have talked, Alan Tudyk's response not this past summer, but I think the summer before, back in 2020. It was like, I've worked with him and I've never, it's hard for me to imagine that. And, I've got a good imagination. I'm like, I can imagine that. And I didn't even go to Juilliard.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's sort of the standard cover your ass response. If you've worked with someone who is accused of being abusive, or, you can always say, well, I never saw him do that. And I said, well, that doesn't mean he didn't do it.
Yeah. But the way you deliver that is important. And Anthony Stewart Head, who played Rupert Giles on Buffy, said similar things, said, I never saw it happen, but he was more receptive to the idea that it still could have happened. Right. He said, I never saw it happen. How did I miss that? How could I have not seen it?
Right.
He
wasn't saying that they weren't telling the truth.
Yeah, it didn't come across as nearly as dismissive.
Yeah.
And the other thing that some people have pointed out was that Alan Tudyk was already pretty well established. He'd already done a lot of other stuff.
Right.
Whereas some of the other people who were saying that he was acting this way were kind of made there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, it's Ace of Seven, very much like he played favorites.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure that's how it went, and it was probably a case too where, you know, because like I mean, Charisma Carpenter was a very prominent member of the cast, especially on
Mhm.
Angel when she moved to Angel, and she was arguably she was the second most important character on that show.
Easily, yeah.
And you know, but you know, David Boreanaz was the man, and he probably
Yeah.
got treated a lot better. You know,
Yeah.
um,
Alina High Park, exactly. It says, abusers are often very selective. They play favorites to some while coming down on others to buy themselves plausible deniability. Exactly. Because then, you go to somebody and say, so-and-so has been treating me this way. And they're just like, what? It's almost like they're gaslighting because they can't imagine it because this person has been so, decent, and not just decent, but favorable to them. They've been, the way that a director should be, or a producer or screenwriter should be. Yeah, Ace of Sevens, exactly. I mean, it's definitely taking advantage of people.
yeah.
And it's just,
Well,
it's discouraging.
It's discouraging. I mean, I think we were talking about this when we first talked about it, I guess a couple weeks ago when Charisma Carpenter's statement came out, and you said the term problematic fave, and then you sort of corrected yourself and said, well, is he one of my faves? And I kind of feel the same way about him. It's like I've enjoyed Firefly so far.
Mhm.
And I mean, I really like the episode we watched tonight. I really like the episode from 2 weeks ago. I don't think it's going to wind up being like one of my very favorite shows ever, but I like
Mhm.
it. Like I like the show. But Angel is one of my favorite shows ever. Like Angel is way, way high on my list. I absolutely adored that show, and I really like Buffy too. Like Buffy and Angel both as sort of a cohesive thing. I love
Mhm.
those shows. But other than those, I never watched Dollhouse. I never watched, I didn't watch Firefly until we started doing this show. I saw what was his movie, his horror comedy movie, Cabin in the Woods. I thought that was really good. But I mean, he's done a lot of stuff that I just haven't seen and haven't really been interested in seeing. And he directed the first two Avengers movies, which were good, but that was sort of he was sort of set up for that.
Yeah,
know?
like we talked,
Um,
we talked about with people complaining because I saw it on Tumblr about the what's the point in hiring a writer or a director when you have like everything is plotted out and storyboarded ahead of time,
mhm.
And then they just sort of fill in the gaps. And of course my response to that is that's the Marvel way of doing things, and that's why all of their movies are so similar. And first of all, no, they're not.
That's overstated. I think that's overstated.
And second, because DC is doing so much better.
Yeah. Well, that's
the DC version is how we want it. Yeah.
That's the Geralta Trekkie. Yeah, I think Roddenberry did play favorites, and someone else mentioned Patrick Mulcahy mentioned Hitchcock. Yeah, Hitchcock was horrible to people, to particular actors. Was horrible to people on the set. I mean, he mistreated. What was it? Tippy
Keith
Hedren.
Hale, I'm going to say no. You say nobody but Joss could have made Avengers work, and I'm just going to say no. That's just not true.
Well, no,
that's so not true.
Because the Russo brothers have made it work just fine. The Russo brothers have directed Infinity War and Endgame, and also directed Winter Soldier. Like I don't, yeah. Look, if we divorce ourselves from what a piece of garbage he is as a person, I do think Joss Whedon is a talented guy. I think he can be a very good writer. I think he's an excellent director. I mean, just in terms of the merits of his talent, I would rank him ahead of like Zack Snyder without even having to think about it. Like seriously,
Zack Snyder, who was probably also an asshole.
Because people say, because they get compared a lot recently because they both did, Zack Snyder,
movies too.
Well, they both did Justice League. I mean, Joss was called in to replace Snyder to finish Justice League, and I have absolutely no doubt that the theatrical cut of Justice League was better because Joss Whedon was involved.
But I mean, no doubt about that. I mean, you could put just about anybody in there.
Yeah, exactly. He's not like a one-of-a-kind talent. Like, yeah.
He really isn't. But, and I said this to you earlier when we were talking about, that story breaking, is that what I appreciate him for is not any of his work per se, but the influence that he's had. Like, I love snappy dialogue. And I mean, my favorite movies are Clue and Galaxy Quest. And the thing is, they're like, I don't know. I can't, Clue definitely predates it. Galaxy Quest, I don't know if it predates Buffy or not. I would have to
I don't
like,
think
look
it
those
does.
up. I don't think it
yeah,
does, exactly. I think it's a little
I
bit.
think Galaxy Quest was
But
97, 98 maybe.
yeah. So it would have been post, the opening of Buffy.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
so, like, but it's that, snappy, witty dialogue that his shows really popularized. And so we see it now
Very
more
much.
in other works, and it's because of his influence. And I appreciate that very much. Like, and I had it in my head like 3 minutes ago, and now it's gone. Writer, dude, asshole.
Oh, yeah.
I told you about this. I told you. The guy who writes about the war, Ernest Hemingway.
Hemingway. Yeah.
Yes, I told you about that. And he, very much like, I don't like anything of his that I've read, I haven't liked. And I haven't read all of his stuff. I've read The Old Man and the Sea. I've read Hills Like White Elephants. I've read, I think, 1, maybe 2 other novels by him. And I'm like, I like the style, but then I'm just like, I don't actually like his writing.
Right.
So it's like he's like Joss Whedon, only more so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, even later.
99.
Corey, thanks.
Okay. Yeah.
And Buffy debuted 97. Gracious. They're also tracking more murder by death kind of guy. Yeah, there's Richard Moore. That's a really interesting point. Galaxy Quest is the even numbered Trek movie between Insurrection and Nemesis.
Yeah, a lot of people have joked that Galaxy Quest is like the best Star Trek movie, which I think is
it's so good.
It's
good.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
So yeah, Clue. Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's so good. I put that when for whatever Wednesday last week or the week before. I don't remember which one it was. One of my students asked me which movie was my favorite, and I was like, it's probably Clue. When it comes down to it, and I found a clip of the first ending with 1 + 2 + 2 + 1. So 2 + 1. Even if you were right, that would be 1 + 2 + 1 + 1, not 1 + 1 + 2 + 1. Okay, 1 + 2. Shut up.
Point is,
the seventh best. The 7th best. What is wrong with people?
You're probably wrong. Well, I don't know which
7th best.
I don't know which 6 they ranked it. I don't think I could think. I mean, and I don't know if I could think of 6 Star Trek movies that I think were better than Galaxy Quest. I can think of a couple. I mean, I don't think Galaxy Quest was as good as Star Trek 2, and I don't think it was as good as probably Star Trek 6. Star Trek Beyond is close. Star Trek Beyond is really good. I might rank Galaxy if we're counting Galaxy Quest as a Star Trek movie, I might rank it 4th. I might rank it behind Star Trek Beyond. I know.
You're just wrong, Steve.
You haven't even seen any of these movies. Have you ever seen Star Trek 2 or Star Trek 6 or Star Trek?
I have.
Did we watch Star Trek 2 back in the day, or did you?
2 is Wrath of Khan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I've seen it, and it's not as good as Galaxy Quest.
Pardon me.
No, I don't pardon you.
Pardon me while I burst into flames. I will sing you the song of my people.
Well, some random geek is apparently your people.
Yeah.
Y'all letting me down here. No, you're wrong. You're all wrong.
Star Trek 6 is so good, though.
I don't even remember. Which one's that?
That's actually, I'm writing a video about that now for next week because of Christopher Plummer, who recently passed away. He plays the Klingon bad guy in that. He plays General Chang. Star Trek 6 is the one where it's like the Cold War allegory, where they start, the Federation tries to make peace with the Klingons. And then it doesn't, things go awry, as things often do in movies.
Oh God. Is that the one with Cry Havoc and Let's Slip the Dogs?
Yes. Oh, yes. General Chang, the Shakespeare quoting Klingon.
No.
The Shakespeare quoting Klingon.
I don't mind the Shakespeare quoting Klingon, but having seen that quote fairly recently, and I'll see if I can't send you a link. from the RSC production. From it's now probably been like 5 or 10 years ago, but oh god, they're Mark Antony. First of all, he's incredibly hot. Second, his Mark Antony, his speech in his funeral speech is just like, that mother shall but smile. Ooh, okay. And it's I'm sorry, yeah, because I saw the clip of him. I was like, sorry, no, it's not good.
Yes. Oh, Michael Olsen also, that's probably the best line in the movie, let them die. Yes, you haven't lived until you've heard Shakespeare in the original Klingon. Tak, bak, tak, bek.
No. Mm-mm.
It's one of my favorite.
Thank you, Daniel Houck.
It's one of my favorite jokes from any Star Trek movie when Gorkon says, you haven't experienced Shakespeare until you have read him in the original Klingon. It's such a great joke.
He says read?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know. Can you imagine Klingons like performing Shakespeare? That would be the best thing ever. Like, I didn't know that all the plays were this violent, apparently. Like they are.
Yeah. Yes, they are. They are all incredibly violent.
They really love Titus Andronicus on this planet.
That I were a man, I would eat his heart out with a spoon.
That's some Klingon right there.
Yo,
that's some Klingon.
That's a girl.
Yeah.
My people.
There, you're getting support. You're getting support.
Thank you.
Klingons doing King Lear. Now that would be something.
Klingons doing Macbeth.
Klingons doing pretty much any Shakespeare. Yeah. Klingon Romeo and Juliet. Wrap your head around that. Oh no, the comedies like Klingon Midsummer Night's Dream.
That's exactly where I was going.
Come on. Deralta Trekkies right there with us, yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Klingon 12th Night.
Emilion, have you seen with Anthony Hopkins?
Titus.
Yes, Titus. So good. They are here in this play. Oh my God, Titus.
Yeah, Titus Andronicus would be the most popular Shakespeare play in the Klingon world, I think. I mean.
Oh yeah. Okay, so do we have anything else that we want? We talked about Joss. We've talked a lot about Shakespeare.
We talked about Shakespeare and Klingons and Star Trek and Galaxy Quest.
If we shadows have offended, suck it up. We'll beat your face in. Oh man, yeah. The theater down near my school. The summer before Corona, they did Julius Caesar, and I was so tempted to try out.
Yeah.
But the theater up near where I live did Mamma Mia.
Oh yeah, and you went out for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And yes, Rush Limbaugh is dead.
Rush Limbaugh is dead. So if you didn't know that, and you had like this feeling, and you were like, did the universe just become a slightly better place? That's why. That's why.
What is this feeling?
What is it for all time? This feeling of joy?
No. When you think of him, what is this feeling? Loathing. Unadulterated loathing.
Oh, Emmeline, you broke a leg.
Your smell, your clothing. I loathe it all.
I will mention Frank Conniff's tweet, TV's Frank from MST3K, who tweeted about Rush Limbaugh dying, saying, "I can't celebrate the death of Rush Limbaugh because it means his suffering is over."
Does it though? Do we
or maybe
know that for sure? Oh, Deralta Trekkie.
Bless you.
Live a charmed life.
Don't find out. Don't find out. Don't look it up. Just let it go. You're better off.
Yes, Richard, I hope you're singing along. Every little trait, however small, makes my very flesh begin to... I don't actually know the tune. but I know
You're
that
doing a
it's
good job.
I can just make it up.
I'm just singing it how it looks.
I actually said what you don't say in a theater. Like before a show, my first show, and everybody went, I was like, what, this? And they're like, you don't say that. I was like, apparently not. I literally did that.
Did you also refer to Macbeth by its title instead of calling it the Scottish play?
That's literally what I did, dumbass.
That's what you did?
That's what I did.
Well, I thought somebody said break a leg. I thought you said like good luck, which is, you're supposed to say break a leg instead of wishing someone well, because
it's bad luck to wish good luck,
bad,
and vice versa.
Sure, because that makes perfect sense.
I did not ever. What happened was, in the second act, so this was the Odd Couple reversed cast. So the main characters were female, and the neurotic one at the beginning of the second act missed the call to places. And so we're on stage.
Oh, yeah, you told me this. Yes.
I've told you about this.
Yes.
I probably said it on the stream before. I missed the call to places. We're on stage waiting for her to enter, and we're playing in character, playing Trivial Pursuit. And we're like, man, what's she doing in there? She's just making sure that everything's perfect. Ha ha ha. And we're all joking about how just everything has to be just so for her. And then we're all like, where is she? And we just keep playing Trivial Pursuit for, like, I swear to God, it went on for 5 minutes. And then she finally came on, and she's so flustered. She's like, well, we just went on to play. And it worked because she was not the calm one. She was the nervous one. And dear Ultra Trekkie, it's theatrical tradition that you don't say it's bad luck.
It's like a superstition. Yeah. Yeah,
you call it the Scottish play. Now you can refer. I've heard different things on this. Some people just won't say even like the character's name unless you're in the play and you're saying the character's name. Some people won't say the character's name outside of that. Mm-hmm. So I will say we did have some that was bad. Probably the worst thing that's happened in a show that I've been in. At one time when I was in Fiddler, I almost missed going on stage, but I didn't. I made my cue with seconds to spare. Keith Ale, as opposed to all the clever superstitions.
Yeah, that's a really smart superstition.
Yeah. So it's and some of it also is not just superstition. I think for
it's tradition.
A lot of it, it's tradition.
It's fun.
And also fun thing. The other lead, the one who played the calm character, she's said, actually, another tradition that we have in theaters on opening night, everybody brings, something green to put at your station, because the women's dressing room, the men's dressing room, you would have your chair, which, you would have like your makeup, your props, or not your props, but your makeup and like any accessories that you needed for your character would be right there. And I said, oh, okay. And I'm like, tick, 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 tick. Because just the way the other people in the room reacted. So as it happened, I had a large swath of green satin that I had used as a drape at one point. And then I got some green balloons, and I had some Mardi Gras beads and just like all sorts of green stuff. And I put that at her station. I draped the green over like her stuff. And then I scattered the Mardi Gras beads around. And then I had like a little card that I'd gotten that was green, like a green card. And, or maybe I made it. And then I taped the balloons to her chair, and she came, she's like, what is this? And I said, well, it's tradition. And everybody just watched her. And she's like, I said, for opening night to have something green at your station. She's like, fair enough. So I was like, and then I got them back with, Macbeth.
That's funny.
Oh God. Yeah. Don't stab people. That's not good.
No, don't stab Jesus.
Oh God. Oh yeah. That's all. It's always been okay. Like theater fear versus theater, like intrusive thoughts. For me, it's always when I am in the wings and I'm like, I could just walk out. in the middle, just in the middle
They
of
couldn't
another
stop
scene.
me.
Just
I could wreck this whole show.
and I would never do theater ever again. You
You'll
know,
never
that's what
work in
stops
this.
you.
You'll never
But-
work in this regional theater company again.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, beyond that, word gets around. Oh,
The-
she's that one. Yeah. No, you'd never do theater again.
Yeah.
Well, it had passed. What? So go ahead and do it, Charles or Trekkie. I mean, theater still exists.
Yeah. And it will after COVID's over anyway. And there are shows doing virtual shows and
Yep,
live streams and stuff.
They put back because they're still looking for more kids.
Oh, you're doing you
The Little Princess,
Little
Frances
Princess.
Hodgson Burnett.
I almost said Secret Garden, but yeah, it's the other one.
Yeah, that's the same author, different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get to be Miss Minchin. So stoked. I get to be the evil headmistress. Woo! It's so much fun to be the villain. God,
yeah.
It's so much fun to be the villain.
It's
Oh,
totally. So did you want to wrap this baby up?
yeah.
Did you want to remind people about your YouTube channel?
Yes, I have a YouTube channel, people.
Well done. Nicely done.
It's Dana Cole Dares. And you have to I didn't even think about this. You have to capitalize stuff with YouTube because so the DC and D have to be capitalized. If you put them lowercase, you ain't getting nothing. And what is today? Today's Wednesday. I put up a video yesterday, which was was that the literature one, right?
Yes.
I think so. Yeah, looking at what makes what
makes a
counts as
classic.
classic literature, like what makes a work classic. So I'm really pretty stoked about that. And then I just finished, and Steve is I just set up for Saturday, 13 at dinner, which I need to put back on my shelf now that I finished with it. And then next week will be Pride and Prejudice again.
Yeah.
So
and also your grammar video, right?
No, because they flip flop. So
right. So that'll be later.
If I have a Pride and Prejudice week is just Pride and Prejudice. The Thursday one is Thursday, and then Tuesday and Saturday are the other weeks. So yeah, exactly, Euromex, and word gets around. And it happens in Hollywood too, but it happens even in community theater. Word gets around.
That's a good point.
Somebody's hard to work with, or oh my God, that is the person who just screwed up. And of course that's the other reason that I've had people. I've had the person who does theater at our school, like the teacher who's in charge of the drama program, encourage me to direct them. Like, no. God, I was in theater in high school, and every closing night, things never went absolutely nuts, and they never have it at the school where I'm teaching either. But just the idea, terrifying.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. The idea of having students on stage with mics, like, I mean, haven't you seen like the Wedding Singer? I have a microphone.
You will listen to every damn word I have to say.
Like that's my fear. And I mean, it probably wouldn't happen, but I want to keep my job. I like my job. I love my job. And I would not want to risk that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's on Dana's YouTube channel, which has been linked in the chat, and is also linked in the description of this video.
Thank you, Some Random Geek, because you're awesome.
And also, speaking of Some Random Geek, he also curates a list of charity links that is also linked in the description of the video. Please check those out. It's charitylinks.page, which contains some fundraisers and PayPal links and stuff for friends of ours who need a helping hand. So if you can afford to throw a couple of bucks their way, please do so. We highly encourage that. On this channel, day after tomorrow is another Ask Away. That'll be on Friday starting at 6 Eastern. And
hey, patrons, have you submitted your questions yet?
Patrons? You know what? I haven't even checked the questions yet this week.
Steven.
I got to check in between now and Friday. And on Monday will be my next conversation stream. My guest will be my friend and podcaster extraordinaire, Marissa McCool. We will be back. You and I, Dana, will be back together on next Wednesday to watch Deep Space Nine for the next episode of Trek Reluctantly,
Which is?
which is The Passenger. Yeah. And next Wednesday will also be when I put up the video about General Chang that I mentioned a few minutes ago, the Christopher Plummer tribute video, which I'm writing. I started writing it today and it's going pretty good. So yeah.
Awesome.
So there we go. That's all that's coming up in the next week or so around here.
Yeah.
Or anything else?
No, I was thinking, so it'll be the Monday after that you put up the
next comment video.
No, so is this coming Monday a comedy video?
No, this coming Monday is our next comment response video from that marathon recording session.
So then the comedy video will be after that.
Will be after that, I think. Yeah. Yeah, if I can get it shot in time. I have the next one written. I just haven't actually shot it, but it shouldn't be too
I enjoyed that one a lot.
I'm so glad. People seem to have liked it, and I think it turned out pretty good. Fun. Yeah.
It was fun.
So, but yeah, so that's it, everybody.
Thanks so much for watching.
Absolutely. Hope you enjoyed watching along with us. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Dana? Are you still watching reluctantly?
No, I wouldn't say I'm watching reluctantly. I mean, like I said earlier, I don't think it will end up being one of my favorite shows. Like, I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't connect to it to the level that like it's really big, like super fans do. Like, there are people who like literally like live and die by this show, and I don't really get that. But I do think it's.
I don't think I have any shows like that. In fairness, so.
But I wouldn't say I'm watching it. I would, and this was a good episode this week. This was a really good episode.
This was yeah. If you hadn't liked this one, that would be bad. I mean, it would be unfortunate for you.
It would be unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very solid episode. So yeah.
All right.
That's it.
Bye, everybody. Thanks so much for coming in and spending time with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.